And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome. You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to Quick Play Tarot. My name is Corey, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a set of quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? So, what are we doing in this round of Read Cancer? We're going to be looking at your one-to-one for the month of June. One-to-ones are a style of reading that I do where we have party A over here, party B over here, and we examine all the intricate dynamics happening between the two. So, two major caveats to this style of reading. The first is that because of the literal formation and nature of the dynamic, it tends to get called love readings. And I hate to use that phrase because they're not always lovely, right? We're talking about all dynamics at this table, not just, the butterflies and the rainbows of it all. Secondly, it doesn't always have to be about love. Promise you. It could be about family member, coworker, friend, neighbor, somebody you just met. Just what is the dynamic happening between this person and this person? So as a preamble to the read, Cancer, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, if it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you and mislead you. Trust me, I got 12 signs to do the style of reading every week for. Don't have the time to lie to any of them, right? Instead, we're going to lay all the cards out on the table, and good or bad, come rain or sunshine, let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, yeah? So follow along with me in your read today, Cancer. My crab people, you're one-to-one, and yeah, let's see what the cards say. You're going to be over here, and your person's going to be over here. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Cancer in this read. What's going on between Cancer and their person today? Nice, they're the tables. I can't take what the cards really wants to see between Cancer and the person today. Okay, on your side? Okay, I like that. Nine of Cups. What does it mean when you fulfill your own wish, right? What does it mean when you are becoming that person? On their end, the Moon, card of Pisces. Interesting. I don't think it's just simply a form of skepticism of where you're going right now, Cancer. Please don't take it as such. But rather, whoever's on the other end of seeing your evolution is not just purely doubt, it's seeing your growth has also made them question fundamentally how they've been relating to you. Have they been limiting you? Have they only given you, slide you off to one particular role or one particular framework of what they expect out of you? And secondly, if that is the case, what am I to expect out of myself? Right? Why was I doing that? Because if they're keeping up, getting their stuff done, pursuing their dreams, pursuing their goals, things like that, then it's kind of like self-reflexive of, is it that I distrust this, or is it that that is true and now I have to really take a hard look at myself, right? So many things here left in the unknown, not because they don't see your growth, but because they do. So that's a very interesting dynamic you got going on between you and whoever this person is to you, Cancer. Now let's look at fronts and backs. Fronts and backs in this read defined as the backs being what's left to the wayside, what's being left out, and the fronts, what's being directly communicated and said between both parties. So let's cards we need to see, please. Define fronts and backs in this read for Cancer today. Show us cards we need to see, please. Fronts and backs in this read. Okay. On your end, regardless, you're pushing forward. It's not about thoughts right now. It's about action. What can I do to accurately, pursue my goals, pursue my dreams, and make things happen? What's being directly communicated? Okay. Three of Cups. Interesting, because I think that's more on the side of reunion, or we're convening this meeting together. What does it mean to have you in my life, and by extension, have them in yours? And on their end, Six of Wands. Okay, so the acknowledgement of your achievements and your victory, and on their end, the guardedness. I know exactly what I'm going to call this video. Seven of Wands, it represents defensiveness or being hesitant about a current circumstance or dynamic. And being that this is a one-to-one, that means they're looking at you. And we talked about what we said earlier. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are. Because, yeah. And here's what I'm saying, this Cancer. On your end, it's like, yeah, it's been a while since we reconvened, but I'm moving forward. I'm pushing forward. I'm actually getting it done this time. And on their end, while they do acknowledge like your growth, your successes, etc., having that still underneath that moon, because remember, that was the initial card that they pulled, leaving things in the framework of the unknown, the things that had not yet been examined. Now the Seven of Wands, the defensiveness, it's almost contradictory because it's a one-to-one read. And the reason I'm saying this is because they're outwardly expressing, hey, I appreciate this for you. I really like this for you. Let's keep it going. And the other side is like, you mean to tell me they got this, right? It's making them be self-reflective because they didn't really think that you pull it off, right? And I don't think that this person is, intentionally like a snake in the grass, that proverbial phrasing of an enemy that you keep closer than your friends, but rather this level of doubt is not only making them reflect upon their relationship to you, but reflect upon the things that they got going on in their own life. And the dissatisfaction starts to come in when they realize that the place that they slotted you into was ultimately either emotionally or positionally beneath them in some way, shape, or form. So to see you rise up and still keep going and still make the successes that you have, yeah, that is a natural reaction, because even if unintentionally, they slide you into a space of, well, my life is bad, but look at Cancer. There's really no other way I could say it right now. Because to have that level of self-reflection and say, I still don't know what I'm looking at, they know exactly what they're looking at. They're looking at you and all the things that you're starting to do for yourself. And to have this outward level of congratulations and this inward level of just defensiveness. Well, what are you defensive about? I thought you were happy for me. I know you are, but what am I? That's why that's why I'm going to call this on video today. Good. Now that we have individual positions, show us the cards that we need to see, please. What are the individual positions going on between Cancer and their person today? The Sun. Yeah. I'm choosing happiness. I'm choosing me. I'm trying to get things right and move my life in accordance with what I'm finding my purpose and my successes to be. On their end, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. It could have gone in a much different and more malicious direction, Cancer. Once they, battle whatever seeing your successes has caused within them, they're going to be all right. And I think because of that Queen of Pentacles is very endearing energy, because it's about maximization, right? That Queen of Pentacles then suggesting, well, don't get mad at them. Get mad at yourself, right? If you want things to change, then stop cross-comparing, because comparison is the origin of misery. If you want things to change for you, then change things for you. You've seen your friend, you've seen your family, whoever you are, Cancer, to them. You've seen them do it. Now it's about you doing it for you. That's the dynamic happening. There's no malice from you towards them at all. I think an unintentional, kind of withdrawal is happening for them right now, because, again, they weren't ready to see you prosper in the ways that you have. And seeing you shift reminds them that anything can change. Underneath it all, Page of Pentacles, the willingness to try. On your end, hey, once I actually stuck to my goals and my dreams, look how it works out. On their end, what if I left behind, and how did they remind me to light a fire under my butt? Okay. Now that we have two parties on the board looking towards each other 1-to-1, let's look at what's happening down the middle. So those cards I need to see, please, for the crab people. What is shared between them and their person, the other party in this read? So those cards we need to see, please. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We'll draw one more just in case. First, Star, card of Aquarius. Here, what does it mean to keep hope and your dreams alive? And what does it mean to pursue them with reckless abandon? Seven of Wands, what is our defensiveness coming up about? Do we think that we couldn't do it? What internal struggles are we having right now that's forcing us to, back away from a firm stance of a position? Next, Death, card of Scorpio. Here, transformation. It was inevitable, but in order for me to get to where I need to go and who I have to be, something's got to change. Three of Swords, notion of heartbreak, remorse. Here, sharp cutting pain, and again, that's more on their end, not so much as on your end, Cancer, because you already had that battle, but who am I and where are we going? And lastly, Four of Wands. Interesting. What does it mean to hold you dear? What does it mean to, really have your space in each other's lives? And I think, again, the current dynamic is not necessarily totally filled with malice and, hatred. I'm not saying that, but it's just an unhealthy dynamic right now because both of you are in a state of change. You are in a state of change because you did it and you keep on going. They're in a state of change because they got reminded that, the person that I unintentionally ended up looking down on is not only surpassing my expectations, but reminded me that I'm falling behind. So when those boundaries got set up, how did it shift that relational dynamic? The heartbreak comes in when we realize how we actually treated each other and what we actually thought about each other. Underneath it all, Three of Pentacles. A workable dynamic, one that is found in community, i.e., this is not a healthy way for you two to keep going, but if we can establish what problems are on the table, we can also look at healthy resolutions. And what that looks like between you and them, Cancer, is that we sit down and say, listen, I sense something that's kind of off, and I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's you, but I thought you were happy for me. What gives, right? And trust me, it's not you, it's them. It's more so the idea of we had this long-standing dynamic that we unintentionally fallen into, like an up-down kind of, where somebody's on top, the other person's on the bottom. That's just how it was. And now we're all being forced to confront basically the ugly side, our shadows. Okay. So as we move towards resolution, define the major arcana shown across the table for Cancer and the person in this read. We will now look towards the moon, the card of Pisces on their side, before we look towards the sun on your side. What is resting in the unknown that probably needs to get tapped into? So the cards we need to see, please. Cancer in this read. Okay. Eight of Wands, direct communication and intentionality. Here, again, and I think it started with when you two got back together and started talking. There's the element of we haven't spoken for a while. It'll start to unearth and unravel a lot of the stuff that they didn't even realize they've been holding on to. Okay. On your end, to the sun, Page of Pentacles. My fulfillment, my happiness came when I tried. When I tried to break my bad habits, when I tried to do better. And did I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. But did I try? Absolutely. Okay. To the Star, King of Cups. How do we handle each other's dreams with care, with tenderness, and respect that process? And to death, the Emperor. We make the choice to transform. Emperor, the card of Aries. We do not back down, we pursue it. Now, if I'm causing you to change, I'm not going to slow down. You need to catch up. In resolution, Knight of Wands. Okay, the freedom of pursuit. How do we get that right? Knight of Pentacles. The ability to invest and take the actions of the long-term building process underneath it all. Knight of Cups. Showing the best of ourselves and the most honest and most vulnerable versions of ourselves when we come to the table, if not now, then next time. What's going on between you and your person? For my crab people, change was a very hard process, and quite literally, you had to come out of your shell. In knowing that, I think whatever reunion you had with this person and them seeing your successes and, you taking those risks, taking those leaps and making sure it goes through, it kind of made them re-examine your relational dynamic where they had to also realize the reason they had such low expectations of you is also because you fall into a dynamic where, Cancer's never going to change, therefore I don't need to change. I always have somebody to compare myself to. And that becomes a very unhealthy notion, as we can see across the board. I think, again, what's shared between you two is that both of you realized that you had to change. One person actually made that leap and the other person feels like they're lagging behind, and a lot of their stuff that they had not dealt with is starting to come up for them again, right? Now, is the dynamic still workable? Absolutely. But they got some them work that they need to do. The question is still, I know you are, but what am I? I know you're changing. I know you're winning. I know you're evolving. And now I have to confront my stuff. And you're making me do that. So that's why I got on your read today, Cancer. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, don't stop for them. You didn't stop for you. And that's what's fair. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.